Hello, everyone.
Welcome to
Welcome.
the holiday edition of the Ask Sean Show. Welcome. Please introduce yourself in the chat. I am Tristan, one of the co-hosts tonight, and we've got a full house getting ready to electrify your holiday. And feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. We've got a lot to cover tonight, and we will be taking questions, but feel free to put any of your questions in the chat because Sean is ready to give you his very own take on how to electrify. We also have a case study tonight with Marilyn, who has installed a heat pump and a couple other electrification projects, but we're also going to talk about how to make your holiday electrified. Welcome, welcome. It's great to see so many of you guys, especially with the holiday season in full swing.
Mm.
Great, great, great. Great to see you all.
Well, let's keep it rolling here. We know
Yep.
people are showing up.
Yep. Well, I just wanted to let you know it was my birthday last week and my husband got me an electric fireplace, so I'm a lucky girl.
All
Ooh,
right.
Yeah,
happy
I
birthday and
love it.
congratulations.
It was the best gift ever. The first
Nice.
year we were married, I got a blender, so I'm feeling really good.
Oopsie.
All
Oopsie.
can be good.
So I wanted to let you know we're going into our third year of the Ask Sean Show. It's a fun way to learn about electrification, and we're going to try to keep it going because we really want to help you electrify. We know it's challenging. We have a special guest here today, Marilyn, if you want to wave. She's been on, joining our show for off and on for the last 2 years, and she has electrified many parts of her home. So she's going to be talking about that soon. Let me introduce everybody who is on the show. Wayne, can you go to the next slide? So I am Tristan Miller. I'm the vice chair here at Climate Reality, and I also work for the California Green Business Program. Wayne, over to you.
Okay, thanks. I'm Wayne Morgan. I'm in Ventura, California, and I head the South Central Coast chapter of Climate Reality Project. Over to Pete.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Pete Marsh here. I'm in Long Beach, California, and I'm very active with U.S. Green Building Council California, Citizens Climate Lobby, Climate Reality Project, and any group that's working to decarbonize, especially our existing buildings. Sean?
Hey, y'all. Good afternoon. I'm Sean Armstrong. I'll introduce myself more, but here to help you guys. I love questions. The whole goal of this is to answer any questions you have. We're going to try to be entertaining and all that, but it's for your questions should you have them, hence the name of the show. So put them into the chat, interject if you have them.
And
Happy
I
to be
also
here.
want to give a special shout out to Tom Cabot, who is also a resident expert and has worked with Sean on many exciting projects, even the Watt Guide, I think.
Oh yeah,
And
he made the first version of it. We've
he
been
made the
updating it
first
ever
version.
since.
So you've
Yeah.
got several experts here tonight. So we've got a handful. All right, let's go to the next slide. I want to let you know that we also have one of our great partners here, Kelly, if you want to say hi and put your website in the chat. The San Diego Building Electrification Coalition. You can see all these amazing groups that support electrification, and they're also a resource for you as well. So please check out their website in addition. And next slide. We want to make your home festive and electrified. Everything from HVAC to your EV charger to your solar panels to your induction oven, your refrigerator, all of those things can be electrified, and it's healthier for you and your whole family as well as more efficient, and you're going to save some money as well. Next slide. We also want you to know all the shows are on YouTube, and this show will be there tonight. We're going to be sending you all the presentations and links and all that kind of stuff as well. And finally, without further ado, our exciting electrification guide that Sean has been working on. It is fantastic. It has every category that you can think of, from ovens to HVAC to washer, dryer. Everything is in there, and Pete is going to put that link in the chat so you have that as well. And finally, without further ado, we'd like to introduce Sean, who's going to introduce our special guest and do kind of an introduction of what we're doing tonight.
Okay, so hey, Marilyn. Um, Let's see here. Now, is Marilyn going to give her slides first or me? Which one are we doing? I
However
can't
you,
hear you. Oh, there you go.
I can do it or you can do it. I mean,
No, let's start off, Marilyn. Let's make this fun.
okay.
Show us your house. Show us what you've been up to. We're all going to admire your progress.
Okay. So Wayne, you're going to put the slides up? Okay.
Yep. There we go.
Okay, so I too am a member of Climate Reality, and I have to say that 5 years ago, none of this was even in my plans for the future. And then after joining Climate Reality, we thought, oh, we want to make a difference and we don't want to pollute as much. So we made a plan and we installed solar panels on our roof. And that was 2 years ago. And we were kind of pushed into that because we wanted to benefit from net metering too. And so that was like really got us motivated. And then I started joining the Ask the Sean show more frequently, like a couple of years ago, and got freaked out by all the gas poisoning in homes. And so I thought, well, we have to do something about our gas stove. And so that was in our plans. And so we recently switched to an induction stovetop and electric oven range. And
Oh,
then,
I think your slides aren't forwarding. Wayne, can you move forward the slides?
oh, I'm not ready to move on yet.
Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry.
It's just, I'll be going fast after
Go for
this.
it. Pardon me. My bad.
So then, because the credits were going to end for heat pumps and that kind of thing, mini splits, we then again were pushed to install that, which we installed in October, November this year. And we live in Huntington Beach. We've never had air conditioning here. And we did have a heater, but that was it. And so now you can go forward, Wayne. Yeah. So with a lot of help from my friends like Tristan and different people in Climate Reality, I was told to, start with the switches on, which is what I did, to look for contractors. And I interviewed 3 contractors and hired one of them. And all of them said, you have asbestos in your attic on the ducts. So before we could even do anything, we had to remove the asbestos. And so they did the abatement, and then they pulled out all the old ducts, and they were too small for a heat pump anyway, and did some electrical breaker work. They took out a heater that was in that closet that you see there. That duct there is part of the heat pump. And so then they installed the heat pump in the attic. So then Wayne, you can move on. Okay. So, and then I'm just showing here some of the things that they had to do. So they took installed the return vent upstairs and then in the ceiling, and then they had to enlarge the opening to the attic because the opening to our attic is in the guest room closet.
Mm.
And then they said, well, we need a place for condensation. So they took the I don't know, the piping. I am no expert, by the way. So they took the piping for condensation and they hooked it up to the upstairs sink. And so that's a picture, that third picture is of that.
Nice.
Okay, you can move on, Wayne. Okay. And this is a picture of the 2.5-ton heat pump installed. Our house is about 1,700 square feet and it's a townhome. And it's an AC Pro. Okay, moving on. And then this is the heat pump compressor that they put outside. And as you can see, there's electrical. There was an electric outlet on the outside wall, and they had to run the electrical all around the house pretty much. And then back, you see the sliding door over there. They ran it up alongside that and through the house. And then if you forward the slide, Wayne, you can see how it looked. That black steel cover, that is electrical for the heat pump. And on the right-hand side, that's it painted. So you don't really notice it very much, but that was really the only way they could install the heat pump because we have vaulted ceilings.
Hmm.
And then you can go forward, Wayne. One of the things as far as the rebates go is that we did want to apply with, companies that knew how to do those rebates. And only one company was dealing with TechClean, and they were the most expensive company. And then it turned out that TechClean is no longer available in Orange County. But we did receive a $1,500 Go Zero rebate through the company that we selected, which was J. Martin Air Conditioning. And we're also eligible for the $2,000 federal tax credit. You can go on. Is that the
Oh,
last?
that's the last slide I
Oh,
have.
okay. And so I was just going to say my ending remarks are this, that I don't know why we waited so long, because now we have a climate controlled house that is so comfortable. And
Mm.
all these years we've been living here, we're either freezing or too hot. So it's wonderful. And so now we have only two things left to do well, actually two and a half, to electrify. One is changing out the water heater to an electrical water heater, which is in the garage. And then we have a gas dryer that we'd like to change to electrical as well in the future. And we do have a fireplace with gas, but we never use it, and we're probably going to just top it off. So that's that.
Well, in the gas fireplace, I'm going to show you some options tonight, but just while we're on the topic of your water heater, you should know that there's lots of them, right? Lots of heat pump water heaters, the kind that you probably will use. So like I just saw this ACIQ one when I was in Florida. They're $1,800. Here's a standard, like this is the 120 volt type. Let's see if I can get it to show up on the side here. There. I'm going to go to the website for it so you can see my screen. This is the 120 volt plug-in replacement. It's got a thermostatic mixing valve. So what it does is that if you store water at 120 degrees, which is code, you get a certain amount of showers out of that. If you raise the water to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, that's not safe unless there's a built-in mixing valve that releases it at 120 Fahrenheit. But you have the impact of having twice as much hot water, twice as many showers comes out of that difference between 20 degrees and 120 degrees and 140 degrees. So these tanks are nice because they're very flexible. You can keep the water at 120 Fahrenheit, and that's enough for you and your husband. Your family's coming home. You can raise the temperature of the water to 140 and effectively double the capacity of your tank because you've raised the temperature. You've doubled the amount of heat storage, the effective heat. Because what's effective is a temperature difference between 120 and 105, and water in the shower starts to get kind of cold. It's like it's not actually a hot shower anymore. So that 105 or maybe 100 to 120 or 105 to 125, that's the band of useful hot water that most people play with. That's why this tank, these 120 volt tanks, they're designed to just plug into any outlet in your garage, any outlet, and have this like flexibility for the holidays. So since we're talking about the holidays and everyone comes home for the holidays, this is like a holidays friendly piece of advice I'm giving you is there's a lot of heat pump water heaters that are stuck at 120 Fahrenheit. They don't have an integral mixing valve, and they're 240 volt. All those things kind of go together. And the thing that all as a package goes together is you get a 120 volt product that is guaranteed to have an internal mixing valve that allows you to double the capacity of the tank when you're trying to throw a party. So with that, I think that I'm going to show you a couple other things here. That you said dryers, right? I've presented on laundry dryers a bunch, but I'm just curious, Marilyn, do you want to get your laundry done in 1 hour, an hour and a half, or 3 hours drying? That's the main difference between different laundry dryers out there is the amount of
Uh,
power you deliver to it. It makes it like a 40-minute to an hour or more efficiency. And, anyway, do you have a sense of like, do you care how long it takes for your laundry to dry?
I like it to dry quickly,
Then
like an hour, no more than an hour.
so this advice I just gave you to get the 120 volt heat pump water heater, the one I just showed you, that's good advice because that means that you don't take up all of this electrical capacity with a 30 amp water heater, 240 volt, high power. Instead, you can get a 30 amp, 240 volt electric resistance dryer that dries really fast.
Okay.
Like you kind of have those two use the same amount of power and the same amount of voltage, and they're really kind of the same product. The standard issue heat pump water heaters are used the same amount as your nice fast electric resistance dryer. So now you know. For the rest of you, just to introduce myself, as I'm going to get into some more advice. Hi, I grew up on a farm in Wisconsin. I live on a farm in California. I've been a lifelong farmer. I was raised by hippies and back to the land kind of movement in the 1970s. And I kind of continue the tradition up here in Arcata. I had a brief stint as a middle school and high school science teacher, but for a variety of reasons, I felt like my personality, my skills, and the rest of it, and my sense of urgency. Like, I didn't really want to wait for the next generation to do it. It's like, I'm well trained. I think I have to go run out there and start doing these things. And so I got a job with the devil. It was a local big developer. I was told so by some local activists that I was going to work for the devil. And at that place, I invented this new type of development for them, all electric and 100% solar powered, which in 2007, when we started rolling that out with grant applications, was startling because solar was so expensive. But we were making the case that if we could offset all of the utility bills for the next 15 years with a solar array and got rid of the gas, that would work out. That was cost effective within like 10 to 15 years. Okay, so from that, I became a consultant. I've worked on more than 500, 600 developments now. I've done everything from tiny houses to very large buildings, and I've mostly focused on apartment complexes. And I do this. This is my like one of my volunteerism things. We all want to be activists in our, like a little bit of our spare time. I like to tell stories in order to sort of help people normalize this. So is to give the history of electrification. And today we're just going to focus on the holidays. I liked this one because this is an example of how in the 1950s and 60s, the holidays specifically is the most emotionally fraught time of year, were used to try to get a policy passed, which is they wanted to get an all-electric building code. And so the utilities would sell to women and men separately. This is the era of Mad Men, cigarettes and booze while you're at work and make like fancy new ads to mess with people's minds, to take Freudian psychology and such. So on the left-hand side, you can see how appliances, and that's a lot of what I'm going to talk about today, the stuff that you can like stick in a stocking or underneath a tree, it was used to influence women's purchasing behavior. And so they would call women, depending on how many appliances they have, you have to check off the number of electric appliances. Then you got a score. Are you a 6, a 12, etc.? And then they called you names. Are you a dinner duchess? That's the best, with the most appliances. 19 to 24 electric appliances in your kitchen. Or a culinary countess. You might have as few as 13. What if you're a lady in waiting? Well, that's like down to 7 appliances. And if you're like at 1 to 6, you're called a galley slave. Boom. You suck. You work too hard. Where's your fancy electric appliance? And on the men, it's the same thing. You better have a warm house. It's going to be all electric. It's not going to have a bunch of coal soot or wood smoke soot on the curtains. It's not going to have stained walls from smoke unless you're cigarette smoking in the house. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. Basically, the idea is like you welcome people in the holidays to your toasty warm house with your electric twinkling lights on your tree. Electricity, electricity. And that one That got them a 100 amp minimum service to your house in 1962. Every single house since 1962 has been built so that you could have an all electric kitchen, living room, bedrooms, everything. No gas needed for gas lighting like the old days, or coal like in the 50s, your coal bins, etc. So today, for stocking stuffers in the holidays, these are things my actual my actual gift list that I went through my Amazon for the last 2 years. Things that I've given girlfriends, things that I've given friends, interns, relatives, all this stuff. This is the things that I shopped for carefully and decided that I wanted to buy. So on the left-hand side, for your friends with cold feet, this is a plug-in version. They make little ones that are boots with batteries, but I haven't found them to be as good at getting someone with cold feet warm. And I've dated a couple ladies now that had chronic fatigue and had issues with like circulation and such, and this has been terrific. Same thing with this electric vest, pardon me. Um, 43 bucks, $49. These are things that make a real difference in people's lives if they are warm. Like Marilyn was talking about how it's the first time she's been both warm, in the wintertime and cool in the summer in a comfortable way with a high quality heat pump as opposed to crappy old gas furnace and undersized ducts and not the right size return and all the things that made your system not work. Well, for those people who don't have the ability yet to put in a brand new whole house heating system, either because they rent or they don't have the budget now, heating yourself, at least, is a good trick. So this one on the right, this plugs in, 50 bucks, and you wear it. Like this is for a home office. This is for cuddling with your cat at night. Your cat will be glued to you if you wear one of these electric vests. I've had this comment back from a number of staff who are like, I can't get my cat off of me. The thing loves how warm I am. So depends on, who you love, cats and dogs. This is an example on the left-hand side of an electric vest that I've given a number of my staff. They live in rentals that are cold and they can't control the situation very easily. It's frustrating for them. So also, I've given them to staff that work at the co-op. They're like a local grocery store and they stand next to the doors that blow open. And so I love the co-op. I shop there every day, at least once. I'm literally dating a co-op cashier. Wonderful person. College educated, all the rest of it. Just wonderful human being. So I give out these vests. A little pricier. The other one was like 40 something dollars. You get a battery on it. Now it's like $80, $100. You get fancy ones at dedicated websites, not just Amazon's imports from China. Well, then they're like $150, $200. But basically, it's a padded vest. You look like anyone in San Francisco with a black padded sort of like vest. I've been on like, the Larkspur Ferry heading into downtown San Francisco, and like every man is in a padded black down vest. Okay, so it looks just like anyone else, but you got a battery in your pocket, you got a rocket in your pocket, and you're staying really warm. The whole chunk of your body's got heaters on the back, heaters on the shoulders, heaters on your sides, around your belly. So toasty. Now, as a divorced man, that means that like the majority of men who own houses with their spouses, the spouse gets the house. I don't know if you realize this, but in the United States, the majority of homeowners are women because of divorce. So as a divorcing man, I'm sensitive to this. And so I've had to go rent a house for my kids and myself. And I'm getting a heat pump put in there right now because the rental house has 2 gas wall furnaces. So I got to do it yourself. The handyman for the rental association can install the heat pump. But in the meantime, for $40, I got a personal electrical heater. It's got a fan built into it. It's insulated so I can put it on any table. And so when I'm having dinner with my girlfriend last night, we'll just heat us at the table. It's just personal warmth. And they make a lot of small electric heaters, but I liked this one for being very quiet, for having a quiet fan, and being directional, like you can just direct it at you. This is a common strategy with fancy heat pumps in Japan, not so much in the United States, but where you have a fan coil on the wall that tracks you personally with an infrared sensor and then turns the vanes of the ductless mini split that's on the wall to track you with air conditioning or heating. So this is me applying my knowledge of how the Japanese have a completely different strategy for personal heating, which is they heat you. When you're in the room, you're being heated. When you're at the table, you might have an electric blanket over the table and you're being heated from underneath, but you're not necessarily heating the house. Uh, Japanese houses are famously a disposable construction product. After about 40 years, they're usually abandoned. And people are starting to rethink that strategy, but they're not well insulated and they're not built to last. So they design mechanical like heating systems to insulate to heat you. So this is in that vein. 40 bucks heats you. Now, on the left-hand side, if you want to have the experience of just looking at something that looks like flames while being heated, I set this up where I got a couple of these humidifiers that are underlit with LED lights. So they're 20 bucks, 30 bucks. This one's $15. I bought two of them. And then I went to the beach and I collected driftwood that other people had already burnt in bonfires. And I got this whole burnt driftwood collection that I put around those little flame-like diffusers. And I light it up from underneath and it looks like a real fire, you know, with flames and mist and the wood's charred. And then I have that little heater I was just showing you on me. And I'm like, oh, I'm in front of a hot fire. And that was under $100 and a trip to the beach with the girlfriend. And I got a lot of driftwood out of the deal. So then on the upper side here, for people in your life who like to camp, it's really hard to light fires when you're camping if there's wind. And this is something I use for lighting my campfires. Or if you have a friend who likes to smoke, you know, whatever it is, this is a lighter for that purpose too. I gave them away to my college students, a whole bunch of them that were real stoners during when they were my interns also. They loved them. They thought they were terrific. So these electric lighters, I give them to my mom. Like I said, from a back to the Lander family, my parents grew cannabis behind the corn in rural Wisconsin. You know, it's legal now, so I can talk about childhood, right? So I'm just saying this is what I got from my mom because I don't like that she inhales butane when she lights a joint. It's kind of gross. So this is also nice that way. It's like taking care of mom. And also as her hand has gotten weaker and it's harder for her to use a lighter, this has got a push button. You know, she's 79, so she's got arthritis. Um, so they're very nice for that as well as like the most easy to light something. And this one I like it. It's set at an angle so you can sort of push it at the newspaper when you're lighting the campfire. 12 bucks. They last a long time. They have a USB charge in them, so you just plug them to the same thing you charge your cell phone with, etc. Terrific stocking stuffer. Then the discussion of the wildlife. So one of my staff has a dog that has no teeth, almost no hair, you know, is driven crazy by fleas. If any flea bites it can't like flea medicine only works after the flea bites the dog or the cat. So this poor thing's allergic to flea bites and it's a hot wreck. So the dog is constantly on Gary. And Gary, I got him one of these pet beds. And now the dog will, this little tiny, you know, Chihuahua, poor little thing that Gary loves very much after his divorce. That's what he got to keep. And so this cute little dog just sits next to him while he's doing his work now, as opposed to it needing to be on him. And so that both helped him be a little bit more productive and very happy making, you know, 38, 39 bucks. They are 3 watts. They use almost no electricity. At 3 watts, that's like an LED light bulb. It's barely using it, but it's just the right temperature so a cat or a dog can sit in it without getting dehydrated, you know, without getting overheated, which is a risk with pets. They'll fall asleep on something heated. So this is designed by like veterinarians to be warm, but not hot. It's cat safe. Just a little tiny bit of electricity. Then, here on the lower right-hand side, for 105 bucks, I have this and I love it. It's a solar powered water fountain and the birds really like it. They like seeing, it's just a little bloop, bloop, bloop of water, but I'll usually have like 4 goldfinches in the morning. I'll have hummingbirds in there. I'll have a bigger bird chase away the little birds and splash around for a few minutes. I have to fill it up every day, basically. It's so popular in the summertime. And the solar panel that's in it, you just have to scrub it off every month or so because algae builds up and it doesn't work so well. But it's nice. You know, it's like it's metal. It stakes into my garden. It's a good durable thing. So a little solar powered water fountain. I love that for the animals. But for the human animals that want to go outside in the wintertime, because no one wants to stay in forever, if you want to plug in outside heaters, like the one I was kind of showing you for inside, these are patio heaters. And the one on the left hand, that's 100 bucks. Plug it into anything, and and it's for outside, and you can be warm during a party. The one on the right-hand side, I like that. It's also plug into any old outlet. It's a 1500-watt heater. I'm sorry, the three numbers in a row. The first one is its voltage, and all of them are the same voltage. 110, 120 voltage is the same number. And then the second number is their wattage. I clipped it off because I was trying to save space, but it's 800 watts, 1500 watts, and 1500 watts. And then the third line is how much they cost. My bad, right? But for 280 bucks on the right-hand side, that's actually a pretty nice setup. That's for canapes and crudité and such, and you can have your wine, and you can have really warm knees. Now, as a tall guy, I have to say that when people put heaters up at what quote unquote head height, it's like at chin height for me, and I'm getting blasted with heat in my face. It's a little sketch, but it's particularly bad when it's propane. Like parties where they'll have the propane tanks, it makes me nauseous. Like I all of a sudden have to I can't stay warm without also getting sick from inhaling the carbon monoxide because it's right at my face height. I'm 6'3", I'm a bigger guy. So I really like this one in the middle, which is a radiant tube for attaching to a wall that would radiate heat at people without it necessarily getting you with the carbon monoxide. So these are for parties outside for the winter season. A lot of options out there. Just plug them in any old place. You you have to think about how many circuits you have available to the outside. Because if you have one circuit, then you can plug in one of these. And if you have two circuits, two, right? Because these things are designed to, well, the one on the left-hand side, the Hanover, that 800 watt, you could plug three of those into one circuit safely, but nothing else. And all three of those would fit on a 2400 watt circuit running at full blast, but nothing else. Because there's 2400 watts in every standard circuit that's out on your patio. This 1500 watt one, these two here, you can only plug in one because two of them would be 3000 watts, and that's more than 2400. So it's just the Hanover that I'm pointing at here that's like for three different seating areas for grandma and grandpa who, want to sit outside and look at the Christmas lights. Although electric heating blankets and vests and booties, all those are using tiny amounts of wattage. And you can plug in plug strips of electrically heated booties, each using 60 watts of your 2,400. So those personal heating devices versus these things which are blasting heat into the air and you're hoping to get a little bit of it, that's not as efficient as personally heating. As an example, if you had an outside party and everyone got a $60 electrically battery heated vest to walk around in for the party, you could go out and see the Christmas lights. Just saying, it depends on your budget. I have bought a lot of outside lighting in my day. I am personally committed now to buying the brand name of Philips because I find that the LED lights that I get from Amazon of random manufacturers are gone within a year, and I don't want to pay the warranty. I want to get a decent brand that doesn't screw me over. It's just crap connections and things that fail. So I've moved over to Philips, and I would recommend that if you're thinking about outside lighting, that you look at getting an old brand with a warranty that they stand behind and solid construction and things like that. A little less fly-by-night, a little more, durable. But these are the ones, solar panel on top, little battery built in, light your pathway. I have a 3-acre field, so I like to have like my paths lit a little bit better. Or if you're having a wedding, that kind of stuff, but you don't want to light 100 bags with candles in them. Did that for my sister's wedding. It's really tedious. These days you get electric LED candles that you stick in there, and that's so easy. Now, I'm about to go into the cooking. I'm about to do the same thing that got Marilyn all upset before. So I'm just telling you, this is like the fun part of the talk, and then I'm gonna give you like the for a couple 3 slides, and then I'm gonna go back into the fun stuff of all my cooking experiments. So here you go. Now you know. On the left-hand side of this picture, you're seeing graphs. On the right-hand side, you're seeing an infrared image that's real. One of my staff, I sent him a FLIR camera, and he took photos of his grandma as she's cooking. This is her stove. And on the right-hand side, you can see the plume of combustion smoke, which is, I'm going to show you in a moment, is roughly equal to 4 cars worth of pollution coming off. Like if a car is idling, this is about 4 cars worth of that. And you might be like, "Are you for real?" I'm like, yeah. There's a big old flame there. You usually can't see the smoke because nitrous oxide that's in it is a very pale, rusty brown. The formaldehyde is invisible. The benzene's invisible. Carbon monoxide's invisible. It has very small particulate matter, ultrafine particulate matter that's invisible. Almost all the smoke, even though you're burning the equivalent of plastic, natural gas, quote unquote, methane is reformulated into plastic. Almost all the plastic in your life was made by reformulated natural gas. You have the raw stuff here is just a vaporous plastic that you're burning. So knowing that, now look on the left-hand side, the more tricky, complicated, like here's graphs. Split in the middle with that little bar. On the right-hand side, you can see a dotted line. There is no air in our country outside that exceeds that dotted line. Our entire country, even the most polluted air in Los Angeles and San Francisco, still, for nitrogen dioxide, the chemical that causes serious lung damage, asthma, lung cancer, heart attacks, that stuff, everywhere in the country, we're within the legal limits. On the left-hand side, you can see that every day with a gas stove, people blow past the legal limits, things that would shut down a gas power plant outside. On the left-hand side, there's no regulations and there's no combustion filters on a gas stove. There's no catalytic converter, nothing. So if you cook something on an electric dish, all the combustion smoke, and there is, that comes off of the oil or, whatever the food is itself, because you're frying some food. So there's some nitrogen dioxide pollution. You should vent, your kitchen. However, as soon as you start cooking with an oven or just one dish or cooking a full meal, you're way past federal limits in nitrogen dioxide. Okay, so that's like a numeric visual way of trying to see it. I'm trying to show you visually on the right-hand side where you can see the orange and the yellow and the pink, and the purple is the cool air that's behind it. Everything that you see is not purple, is smoke that's around that. And you have your face in that smoke, invisible, very dangerous smoke. Sometimes if the sun's coming through just right, you can see it. You can see the combination of particulate matter from the food. You can see the humidity because most of the smoke that's coming off your stove is water vapor, and you can see that too. Like be able to see how much is there because seeing is believing. These are all pictures off of Reddit, just people taking photos of their houses after they'd been cooking. And you can see when sunshine comes in, and this is important because sunshine has a lot of energy and it interacts with the molecules, and you get actual smog in your kitchen because that's what smog is: water vapor, nitrogen dioxide, and sunshine. That's the critical. You don't get smog at night. You get smog when sunshine makes these new nasty oxidizing chemicals that rough up your lungs. So you can see the water vapor on the right. That's the windows. You get condensate. It's really clear when you're cooking on a gas stove that you're making a huge amount of smoke, much of which is water vapor, just like off of a wood stove. So much of the smoke that you're seeing is water vapor. So you can see the water vapor in your house accumulating on the windows. If you know what you're looking for, that's the evidence of the smoke. And sometimes when the sun's coming in right, you can also see it in your house, the haze, the combination of all the things that you just put in there. It gets through your whole house. There's no bedroom that's immune to it. Within an hour or two, every room has got about the same amount of pollution from what you did in the kitchen. So no one's safe from what you've done in the kitchen. Smoking a pack of cigarettes, basically. And here's the science. On the left-hand side, this is a study called Methane and Nitrogen Oxides Emissions from Natural Gas Stoves, Cooktops, and Ovens. And you can see over here on the left-hand side, they're like, here's the pollution. Leaking CH4, which is methane. Unburned CH4, because methane is a bad chemical itself. Its leakage is terrible for your health and everyone else. And then nitrogen dioxide. So they gave the results in 21.7 nanograms of nitrogen dioxide per joule. Joule is a unit of energy. So we converted that and we said, well, joule's unit of energy, so is BTUs. And stoves are rated in BTUs. And the smallest burner on a gas stove is a 7,000 BTU burner. The smallest burner you've ever seen in an apartment complex is a 7,000 BTU burner. So just think of the smallest one, not even a bigger one, just the smallest. As you burn that, it makes 160 milligrams of nitrogen dioxides an hour. While you're idling a car, you're producing, and this is from a national lab, Argonne National Lab, they use a 2011 Ford Fusion. Okay, its catalytic converter is working. They ran the car, so there's no longer the cold, dirty start. It was just idling like a hot, clean engine at the stoplight, and it's producing 35 grams milligrams of nitric oxide per hour. Remember, the stove is producing 160. So compare those two. What it means is that 4.5 cars idling in your kitchen in the same moment as you have one gas burner on full blast because you're trying to get water to a boil. Or you could think of it like, oh, I'm not boiling water. I'm only cooking at medium flame. Okay, it's only 2 cars that are idling into your kitchen worth of nitric oxide. I'm cooking on low. Cool. Just 1 car cooking on low, 1 car's worth of idling exhaust into your kitchen. That's the math. And that is why people who cook on gas stoves report symptoms of heart attacks and have triple the medication that people who don't cook on gas stoves. It's why 1 in 5 kids in California got their asthma from their gas stove and nothing else. It's why roughly 50% of the nitrogen dioxide that you get exposed to in your life is from your kitchen. And the other half is from all the industrial waste and all the buildings burning their stuff. Everything's being burned outside. It's about half of what you get exposed to. And the other half is from your kitchen if you cook on gas. Any way you slice it, it's a large amount of air pollution from kitchen stoves. So, because you love yourself and you love your family and you got a little bit of money and it's the holidays, let's chip in and help some people out. So on the upper right hand side, this is oh gosh, double induction burners, child lock. This is one I just got for 180 bucks. I liked it because it has 2 8-inch coils, and frequently when you buy an induction online, they have 7-inch and 6-inch coils that don't make a pan that's bigger hot. So, but I didn't want to get a NuWave because those cost 240 bucks, and I already have one, and I'm here to test them. So I haven't actually played with this. It's in the mail, but I'm excited about this Electake. And I'm excited, again, it's the 8-inch heating coils you see from the description in the upper right-hand corner. 8-inch coils is what I'm looking for. And below it, you see NuWave. NuWave Gold Precision Induction Cooktop Portable Large 8-inch heating coil. That's what I'm looking for. It's about as big as you get them off of Amazon. Commercial stoves, they have 10-inch, 11-inch coils. Like the stove that you get for your house, it's a 4-burner and kind of a fancier one. They'll have bigger burners. But online, I should say, that's what you get for stocking stuffers. This is 60 bucks. NuWave, this is an awesome induction. I just put this into my rental house. Works great. It's quiet, temperature controlled. Note that it says that it's 51 temperature settings. That means basically, every time you push the button, it goes up 5 degrees. See, it's the only thing that's a little annoying is if you want a specific temperature, you got to go boop, 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 boop. And it has presets below of low, medium, medium high, high, and maximum sear. So you can kind of get into the general range of where you're going and then control the heat a little bit more. It's okay. NuWave is probably a premier brand, and it's good. George Foreman, also Weber, they all make electric barbecues. I've given them away to friends who are muscle builders, for instance. And you're like, I only eat chicken. I have 2 of these friends who are like, I only eat chicken and I only eat barbecue chicken. I'm like, cool. Here's a grill that you can grill inside your house, right? You can't do that with wood or gas. Way too much air pollution. You cannot bring a barbecue like that into your house and safely burn stuff. But you can, and they do, cook inside their house with a grill because it's just a hot electric surface set up to be a grill, So terrific grilled chicken all the time. Outside or inside, 130 bucks. I bought all of these because I wanted to play with knobs. And a lot of induction is push button. You heard my critique of it just last slide. I like these because you turn a knob. And to put it out there, the upper right-hand corner one, I was just using this. Sorry, the lower right-hand corner, the $170 one, and it was giving me error messages when I was cooking last night. I was like, what's that about? I've only cooked on you 5 times. You shouldn't be giving me error messages. What the hell? The upper one, this I gave to one of my staff. She seems to like it so far. This one that's to the left-hand side, I gave that to a girlfriend so I could test it out in her kitchen. And that one was neat because she has a tiny kitchen. And so having the countertop being used horizontally, she didn't have the space for it. But being used vertically, going back towards the back of the countertop, that she had space for. It's like, cool. But those are only 6-inch coils. Not a huge fan of that, you know, like a smaller cooking surface. And at the end of the day, she decided that she didn't like having 2 coils. She wanted to have one that worked well. And so we went to the NuWave, the single burner that's excellent and has an 8-inch burner and things. So that sort of 2 burners, different arrangements, but sometimes they're small and things don't like one that works really well is surprisingly nice to have, at least as a stocking stuffer, you know, as a gift. Here, this is another nice thing to think about for electrification is your cookware. Lots of people do not ever get new pots and pans, which is just sad. Particularly people who are cooking on that frayed old Teflon. You're like, do you understand that that stuff, Teflon's made out of forever chemicals? You know, perfluorinated carbones. That stuff is nasty bad for you. Should not be ingested, should not be burnt when you're smoking like a steak or something like that and you're getting that pan really hot. Teflon starts to smoke at 450, which is easily steak temperatures. It's just plastic. It's a spray-on hard plastic. And so you're burning plastic and you're cooking on plastic, literally. So consider moving over to a ceramic coating. To be honest, I mean, I've been avoiding Teflon for so long, working on cast iron, I didn't realize that you can cook an omelet and just have it slide off the pan? Wow! You don't have to like, you know, scrape it off. This is amazing to me. I love it. So ceramic, like the coating of a mug, you know, you put it into a ceramic coating and then you fire it and kiln it. That's what this stuff is. It's not plastic. It's minerals. It's baked, hardened minerals. But they're advertising at least as safe. You know, they're not putting lead in it, they're not putting cadmium. There's a whole long list of chemicals they don't have. And there's a brand called Green Pan that's one of the leaders in it. You see this on the left-hand side. NuWave, the brand I've been showing you for induction, they make their own pans of the ceramic type. And Farberware, which is like a brand from 120 years ago, still making it. Farberware is great. That girlfriend, she loved her pans. So put it out there, not expensive, not even expensive to get a set of 3 of them. There's $70 here that I just ordered. Because remember, I've ordered all these. and they're great. I just love it. I just love being able to use whatever metal device I want to cook on. And I love that I can just get the food off. I mean, I barely need to use any scraping. It really blows my mind. Can't get over it. So yeah, this is great stuff. Ceramic cookware. Now back into using electricity, because pointing out that the ceramic cookware is like, if you're going to get induction, you're probably going to replace some pots and pans. Do it right. Please don't get Teflon, get ceramic coated pans. Okay. Ovens. This NuWave up on top with its weirdly, grotesquely oversized roast in it. That's obviously like Photoshop weirdness. But I got this one. It's a nice oven. 170 bucks. Underneath it, Breville. This is the #1 brand. If you are getting a countertop oven, I'd say get it right now, because usually the Breville Smart Oven Air Fryer Pro, which is a whole 1 cubic foot. It's the biggest of these Breville ovens. The Pro. The one that isn't Pro is 0.87 cubic feet, just a little bit less, but it matters. So this one is just excellent. It comes insulated. Frequently they don't have insulation in them, so they just radiate a lot of heat into your kitchen and don't get warm as fast and don't keep their heat as well. Much better controls. This is a nice one. I put this into a demonstration house that we have up here. So lovely, lovely oven by Breville. $300 is not cheap, but neither is your health. I don't know if you've had cancer in the family, but I have, and I can tell you that it is expensive on so many levels. So spend some money, love a person up. Now, all these here is a little bit more commercial, but commercial just means durable. So let's just put it out there. Like these ones are the ones made out of metal housing, not plastic at all metal housing. So the things just don't crack quite as much, just a little stronger. So on the left-hand side upper there, you see the Changebert for 170 bucks, a single burner. It's nice. Plug it in and it's, quiet and powerful and durable. The lower left-hand corner, this is a wok. Got that for my Asian heritage girlfriend. I made it sound like I have lots of girlfriends. I date one at a time, usually for half a year, okay? Don't get personal. Don't judge. I'm nice to everybody. So then we have clean cater. Yeah, so then on the right-hand side, Wayne, Pete, you guys have been up to the retreat. And so you might have seen it this last summer. For the first time, we didn't have that butane little blue flame underneath our what are they called? Chafing dish. So if you're having a holiday party and you're thinking, I'm going to be catering 20 to 40 people are showing up and I want to keep things warm, these are terrific electric heaters and they set the temperature that you want. You can't do that with butane. It's just a gas flame underneath and it makes your party smell bad. You're literally burning plastic. If you look down there, it is blue plastic that is being burnt. That's it. It is a fossil fuel that has been reconfigured into a hardened substance so that it's dense, energy dense. That's really what you have, and it's plastic that you're burning underneath your food. And everyone in the party has to smell. So this was clean and a higher quality of temperature control. I see I've got chats here, and I'm like, no, I've been ignoring them, and it's my bad here. So Luke says, you love your cast iron forever pans. Right on. Me too. And yes, Lisa said, if you prep it right, the eggs slide off too. True that. But harder stuff in a stocking, which is, Luke, you're right. Those things will pull your stocking down. And these aluminum ceramic coated pans with a single layer of steel inside to make the induction. But I'm going to tell you something, that those cast iron pans do not heat evenly as the pans I was just showing you. I got to tell you this, man. These things, it's such a perfect heat all the way across the pan. And I really haven't had that experience with cast iron, which is very sensitive to where the induction elements come up. And so you'll have like a cooler center and where the coils are will be a little bit hotter. These ones, really uniform heat distribution, designed for that. So just saying. Thank you, Luke. You're right. Reformulated napalm is the right way to describe it. It is, whew, that stuff. So, chafing dishes. The wave of the future is electric for $142. And that was my entire presentation. I wanted to show you like holiday stuffers and get you thinking. I think the most important thing you can do is cooking
Yeah.
for this reason of just like how serious this is and how inexpensive the solutions are. Get
And
someone a single
it-
burner and a nice pan, and that's a nice gift.
and have you noticed like people like stars like Gwyneth Paltrow have gas stoves on their Instagram?
Poor
I mean,
thing.
so many, who are into the health and wellness field,
And they don't
and
know.
they don't even know that.
I had this
And I
really
didn't know
rich
before
lady.
either. I understand how it happens.
One of my favorite stories of working with a very, very wealthy woman. Keep in mind, I only work with wealthy people who are building affordable housing, so they might have a private plane, but they don't know Madonna. And so this lady knew Madonna and she knew Metallica because she'd started iTunes with Apple.
Mhm.
So she had a mansion in Malibu. I hope it's still there. Hope it didn't burn down last spring, right?
Mhm.
And she was electrifying it some years back. And what she was struggling with was the induction stoves, and she didn't know that Smeg and other brands that she was familiar with had really gorgeous high-end induction stoves. And so I told her about that, and that changed the course of the conversation. But anyway, that's my closest I've ever been to Madonna or Metallica or U2 or any of the other bands. She just name dropped while we're talking about all the people that she knew that she's going to have over in her new electrified house. So if it didn't burn down, there's at least one demonstration house in that neighborhood.
That's great. There were some questions going back to Marilyn's project. I
Mm,
think it was Lisa Ruckman had asked, could she have avoided the duct issue just by getting mini splits? And then
yes.
Kelly followed up, hey, interested to hear more about the ducts being
Yeah.
replaced.
I don't know if I've got anything good in here to show as pictures, but how about this? This
I
this
can
candy,
answer that.
the
Yeah, go
Easter
ahead,
egg colored
Marilyn.
houses here.
Um,
Go
oh,
ahead, Marilyn.
I can answer that because
Please.
I originally was asking for mini splits, but because of the structure of the house and the vaulted ceilings, it made it
Uh,
really difficult and it would have been really expensive. to put units in all the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Because you're in a
It
town.
would have been.
Yeah, that would have
Yeah, I mean that's the bummer is that mini splits have to go through walls generally. You could have put it up in the attic. Like you could have had the refrigerant lines go up a wall, and then you have that attic, and then instead of having ductworks, you would have had little thin, skinny pipes. Both of them are delivering heat. One's skinny, one's big, right? And you could have delivered that then to different rooms. But I
Yeah,
think that what you did is fine,
the
you
issue
know?
is that there's a loft and
Mm-hmm.
there's the living room and it's all vaulted and there's no attic space in there.
Ah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you wanted to have, in that case, it sounds like you had does the duct come blowing air out from the wall, like to the side, since there's no space up on in the attic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if in that place where you have now a duct coming out, you would instead put it a fan coil, perhaps a powerful one, like a 24,000 BTU fan coil, something that can blow a lot of heat at once to fill that room with warmth. Maybe you could have done it that way. Just saying technically, and I think the choice that you made is a good choice. You know, lots of ways to skin a cat. You know, it's just like from a technical perspective, I think you could have put mini splits, and I haven't been to your house, and so there might have been other challenges. And I think that what you did is a perfectly good choice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
A lot of
all
room.
three companies, they started out looking for ways to do the mini splits, and then they're like, this is going to be really expensive.
Uh,
You know, we don't think it's going to be as efficient for you because of there's just so much space because of the vaulted ceilings,
Yeah,
rises. So,
you probably got good advice. Those guys know what they're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a question though of like, why did you already had ducks? What was wrong with them? Why would you need new ones at all? Was it the size of them or they were damaged or not in good shape?
the house was built in 1982 and it was only built for heaters. And the heating ducts were too small.
Is that common that you need a larger ducts for heat pumps than
I-
furnaces?
Well,
I've
here's the
looked
thought.
at
Okay.
I've looked at it for our house and redoing the ductwork was like an $8,000 expense. It was ridiculous. And so we've got heat pumps and we're using the old ducts, but it's not as efficient as it could be. And it's kind of on our list to upgrade, but it's crazy expensive if you need to rip out all the ducts and put them in again.
That price tag you mentioned, Daniel, is about right. You know, you see $8,000 is a common number. I've seen it on bids. So this question of what's the right size duct work? Ducts that are used for gas systems, because they have a high temperature air flowing through, they're not as big, usually as heat pumps, which have a lower temperature, and therefore they blow more air to deliver the same amount of overall heat. So in furnaces, you might know, they blast on and off and on and off. They do it 3 to 8 times an hour. Heat pumps, they stay on. Okay, so with those configurations, what I've heard from technical experts is that about 3 tons, 36,000 BTUs of heat pump, and you had 2.5 tons, Marilyn. So up to 3 tons usually fits in the existing ductwork for a gas furnace. And then beyond 3 tons is when you have to, you know, with efficiency in mind, you're supposed to upsize the ductwork so you can blow more air volume through. And I noted there that you had an increased return. You know, that's the air that is being pulled into the machine, and you got a bigger hole for that. Very common in heat pumps for them to say, like, you're going to be pulling more air volume through. You should have a bigger hole and make it easier for the air to come in, as opposed to like trying to suck through a straw, like suck through a hole. So Daniel, do you know how many tons, how many BTUs, you know, what was the size of your HVAC system, your new heat pump? I'm curious.
I'd have to look it up. I don't have that off the top
It's
of my
okay, I
head.
know it's one of those like who would want to remember that. But yeah, Marilyn, I think that you know, you might have been able to keep your duct work if they had like carefully resealed it, maybe even done a blower door test, like done air blasting through it to see where the leaks were. Maybe you could have kept it and saved some money. But to Daniel's point, they frequently want to sell you this very expensive, new, efficient system of new ductwork. And so, so that's what you bought. You have a
Yeah.
nice, long-term, durable system. Your ductwork should be good for a long time. But,
Plus, we don't
maybe you
have
could have kept it.
asbestos.
Yeah, and asbestos. Let's get rid of that. Yeah.
There was asbestos that they needed to address too, which is
That's
very rare, and I'm glad they
say no
found it.
more.
Say no more. That's right. Exactly.
So, yeah, Kelly, you're saying there that with you added AC 15 years ago, 4 tons kept the ducts. Recently got a heat pump to replace both of them, 4 tons. Seems to work fine, 2,400 square feet, mild climate. Yeah, I mean, it's true. You're not really stressing it that hard down in San Diego. And some of the inefficiencies show up when you're doing it at full blast. And you can't pull enough air in, because your air return is a little bit undersized, which they fixed for you. But San Diego is not the place where you're going to be running at full blast usually to challenge the system and expose the problems. This is good, Tom. You said some of my clients use 2.5 tons on the central system, then add a ductless head unit in the large room or in the problem room. Yeah, because sometimes, like in addition, there's no easy way to get ductwork to it because the attic doesn't line up or other problems. And so what Tom's saying is like sometimes they do a ducted system on kind of the old part of the house, and then the new part, the sunroom that got turned into a real room or into a bedroom, or the garage that got turned into a bedroom and doesn't have a connecting roof with it. That's where you put in the single head of a mini split so that you just deal with the problem. And you have the same compressor outside. It'll send refrigerant to the fan coil that's for the blower for the whole house. And you can get a second line of refrigerant off to go to the problem room, as Tom said. The one that just the one room that wants a mini split. It's nice that you have that kind of flexibility, I think.
Great. And I hope you guys will put in the chat some of the gifts that you might be getting. You
Ooh,
want
that's a
for
nice
this
idea.
holiday, the electric fireplace, the pet heating bed, the solar lights, or dream big, heat pump.
So, well, we're also at time,
Yes,
so I
we
don't want
are.
to keep everyone longer, but I'm gonna send out these slides to you, Tristan. I
Yes.
heard that some people liked some of the cooking slides. I've worked a long time on making those
Yeah.
cooking slides, so you're welcome to them and share them with other people.
Post them, share. I'm going to send
Ooh,
it to Gwyneth Paltrow. That's my job.
thank you.
Put it in her DM.
Yes. Lady Goop needs to
Yeah.
do better for her own health. We want Gwyneth to stay alive for a long time. Do you remember when she
Yeah,
was in
she's great.
Shakespeare in Love?
Oh
And
yeah,
she's
that was a
perhaps the
great
most
show.
ethereally beautiful person you'd ever seen in your
Mhm.
whole life. You're like, I
Mhm.
could see how that could inspire Romeo and Juliet if with Gwyneth Paltrow's in it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can we all get a copy of the slide?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'll send
Wayne
them to
will,
Tristan and you'll send them out maybe tomorrow to other folks.
yep, we will get it out so you guys can have them right away. And feel free to share, on your social media or groups that you're involved in, or even friends. Share the
Yeah.
PowerPoint and let them know, hey, if you have gas, you may not be able to afford to switch out your gas stove right away, but go ahead and get some induction. And you can get these covers that go over your gas stovetop so that you can put the induction plates there. And that's an
Yeah.
interim step because you
The
still get
cutting
gas
boards.
even when you don't use it. There's still a little bit coming out,
I
but
didn't
it's
I
better
didn't show
than,
any of these cutting boards, but they make all these cutting boards out there. I apologize.
yeah,
It was a slide I accidentally cut because I've bought them over and over. Either bamboo or acacia wood. They sell cutting boards specifically for going onto gas stoves so that you
they're
can
great.
convert the gas stove into something else. And I just unplugged the electricity from a gas stove because gas stoves are electric ignition these days. And so then I know that it can't start once and they stay closed. They have electronic valves that close unless there's electricity, so it can't easily leak. Granted, it's a gas and gases can leak, but just put it out there. Yeah, those cutting boards are great.
Wow, somebody just said such a fun, informative show. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks,
because
Ruth. Glad you're able to come.
yeah, we're
Glad to come
all
on back.
volunteers. We all volunteer because, it's something that we care about too.
Hey, well, Kelly just wanted to put this out there. Hey, Kelly and I are in a grant together on electrifying houses. So anyone who's still here, if you're interested, are you a California homeowner with a 100 amp or smaller electrical panel? If so, you can qualify for a study, get $100, and we will help you stay on that 100 amp service as you electrify. If you're trying to electrify, we have a science study to study and help you. So it says click here in the chat to learn more. Kelly is awesome. She's at TRC. Maybe Kelly, you put your email address in the chat just before we go here in case anyone's interested in being part of our science experiment
Yes,
/ help you electrify.
and I don't want to overpromise. This stage is just to ask you a question about your home, but you know, we do have subsequent phases that will continue on.
Yeah, I mean, Quick Carbon's on our team. If you want some personal help, we're here for you.
Exactly.
And
Okay, well, guys, have a Merry Christmas. Happy
yeah, have a happy
Hanukkah.
holiday.
You
And
know,
Holiday
Solstice, Krampus, if you're one of those people who likes to like
solstice.
beat kids and throw coal at them, happy Krampus to you.
And any of you that are thinking about electrifying or have, and you want to share your story here, like Marilyn has,
Right.
we're
Next
here
month.
and we'll meet with you directly to give you ideas. So it's just a great way to electrify your home and get some free advice.
Happy
Thank
holidays.
you all. Happy holidays. Thank you, Marilyn, so much. Great to see
Thank you,
Steve. Great to see
Marilyn.
you, Kelly, Aaron, Lisa, everybody,
Thank
Tom,
you.
Linda.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Keep in touch.